happening, and welcome to another PRLostGalaxy2014 review, continuing my Super7 Ultimates 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video series. And now we're taking a look at Michelangelo. Now we've went over Leonardo and Raphael. Next is Michelangelo. Donatello will be saved for last. And once I've done, Donatello and Michelangelo, I'm going to now talk about how I feel about these figures overall, as opposed to figures of the turtles that I've had of these from back in the day. So you have Michelangelo and all of his accessories, especially the spin around effect piece with the nunchucks, which is pretty impressive because you got, the nunchucks, one part of the nunchucks being standard and the other where it's like spinning in a wheel, like where Michelangelo loves to spin his nunchucks around like he wants to, smack people with it multiple damn times, which is awesome. I also forgot to point out in my last two reviews that for the packaging for Super 7's 2003 TMNT figures, they are pretty much throwbacks to the action figure packaging from Playmate's original line of 2003 TMNT figures that I remember from back in the day, back in the 2000s, and that's very awesome what they were doing, it because even like what Super 7 does for them throwing back to the original, throwing back to several franchises' original toy packages for like G.I. Joe and Transformers with the color schemes and packaging that they had from back then. And even like when I was covering Super 7's, Power Ranger figures for mostly Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where their figures are throwing back to how the action figure boxes for them looked back in the day. So that's really cool that Super 7 Ultimates had thought about that, throwing back to stuff from years and years and decades past of toy history and action figure history, and that's really awesome. So anyway, so here's the front of the package of Michelangelo with all of his accessories, including alternate head, and then animation render of Michelangelo with his nunchucks battle ready and everything. So with that being said, time to open up Michelangelo and see if he's really worth the party. Well, after a very difficult unboxing, I have to point something out before I go over the figure. As you should see, one of the nunchucks broke off, and I should have handled with care, but I'm like, man, I'm a dumbass. Yeah, Mikey, I wouldn't be smiling if I were you. I broke one of your nunchucks. Anyway, so now that we got Michelangelo literally out of the package, let's go over his accessories. So, speaking of the nunchucks, first off, we need to talk about these nunchucks spin disc accessories. Now, when I was testing the nunchuck, I wasn't really sure how to put these on. Like, when I was trying to put it on the end part of the nunchuck, that nunchuck, like on the right hand, broke off, and I should have realized that doesn't go that way. If there was another accessory, like if there was like any like little stick things to put into the ports of these little nunchuck spinner accessory pieces, that would have been, but I checked the box. I don't think it was in there. But it's just, what was the point of these if, the nunchucks can, like, spin, like, when you twirl it around on the figure. It can twirl. And plus, speaking of the nunchucks chains are metallic and are die cast. So it's not like when we had the original toys from back in the 2000s where the parts of the nunchucks with the chains were like plastic or something, painted plastic. So that's something of a given for Michelangelo. But again, I got a Michelangelo with a broken half-third nunchuck. So what the heck was I thinking prior to filming this portion of the review? But nevertheless, I do like the way how they did the nunchucks though, but it's just I should have never broke that first one that's on this arm. And then I'm trying to pose you right, I don't want to break your damn leg. And even you can see some crevice of the plastic on the joint of the leg. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you, Mikey, but like, you really shouldn't be smiling because something about your figure is a little off. Like, really off. But we do have, like, interchangeable hands for Michelangelo. Open hands and balled fists, just like the others. So you got those hands, to switch out. And then also the, again, the phone accessory. So nothing is different for Michelangelo. Same accessory. And then the Michelangelo alternate head where he's just smiling. Just like this without his teeth not showing. So you just have like the normal smile without the teeth open for Michelangelo. Looking like he's very determined and curious or something. But okay, so you got that head for Michelangelo. As for Michelangelo, yeah, again, I broke your nunchuck. But let's see about your figure. Even I'm having problems with this leg right now. So Michelangelo's figure is really darn good, though, color-wise and everything. And then, you know, shell and everything just like the others. But though I'm having some problems with some of the joints on him, though. Like, you sure they didn't, well, this cold air is making sure the cold air is trying to loosen the joints so that way this wouldn't feel so fragile, super fragile and super stiff. I'm just like, what is going on? I'm just trying to make sure everything's right, especially on this knee joint, because I'm trying to get him to be properly standing, but I don't know what the heck is going on. I don't want to break him like a nutcracker because just trying to get him to stand straight, but that's not happening, unfortunately. But I do have to point out about, like, okay, his neck is moving. But I do have to point out about, like, you know, something about his figure is, like, you know, I like how he's made, like the other turtles. But something about the joints are just a little off in terms of, like, you know, you can try to get his arm raised. Yeah, you can raise his arm and the other arm. Okay, other arm. Try not to get too crazy trying to break it, because again, these are some very fragile figures, so I gotta be very, 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 very careful. Okay, well, that arm is just gonna stay like that for now. But yeah, but I'm just like, you know, I don't understand why is Michelangelo having some stiff joints when Leonardo and Raphael were working just fine, but Michelangelo is just not working right for me right now. I don't know why. But okay, but his head can turn all the way around. Oh, dang, just like again, like what I did on the Raphael video. I don't know why the heck I did that, taking this part of the eye, you know, the eye band off, you know, for the Ninja eye band. But like, why is parts of him just like falling off too? I should have been more careful. Okay, but you can turn his head around all directions though, left or right, tilt the head. Yeah, so I don't know what the heck I was thinking. No cowabunga for you, Mikey. But okay, but again, I gotta get that arm. Well, I don't want to break him, but I guess this will just go for now. Okay, you got somewhat the elbow crunch on that arm and just have it posed like that. But now what about the elbow crunch on the right arm, even with the broken nunchuck in hand still? And it feels like I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of frustrating with Michelangelo, man. Like, he's just really making me miserable right now. Or it's just, I'm making myself miserable. Okay, I got his leg right, standing straight. But I don't know about that leg, that knee crunch for the left leg. Because something about his joints are just stiff. You can get the ankle pivots on both feet just fine, but Michelangelo is just giving me a real hard time today. I don't know. That's just me, and also due to the cold air in the room, that's just affecting things too, and just making matters worse. But yeah, I mean, Michelangelo, I find him pretty difficult to play with right now, even though I broke a part of the nunchuck. But I really should have never did that. If I had not realized that there was something that I could have put in the hole for these nunchuck spinners, but I just wasn't paying no attention to that at all. I was not paying no attention whatsoever, and I just didn't know that there was, like, you know, what was the point of these accessories then if you're not going to spin them? Now let's see how Michelangelo stands with Raphael and Leonardo, and then now that just leaves us Donatello left. And now we just got the team together, got the brothers together. Just need one more, and so all in favor. Michelangelo's figure was, you know, kind of mid, as opposed to Raphael and Leonardo. I don't know what the heck was going on with Mike, but like Mike should have, you know, he should have never gave me so much hard times. But again, I broke the damn nunchuck. That's my fault. Yeah, this end here, I don't know if there's a way I could put this back on, but I'm screwed. Well, things get better though come our fourth and last turtle in the set. Well, sort of, when we get Donatello out. So that's it for my review on Michelangelo.